Paul Lil Sutton.
La Lil Sutton.
Welcome to... Ooh.
Whose pussy is this? Yeah, do you want me to read the questions?
Yeah, we're on rec.
Oh. That's so good. We have to keep that in. That's amazing.
We just clapped at the first...
We just got the clap at the same time.
We're just so in sync. It's this new moon. We're like aligned.
We're on it, fam.
All right. So we're back. We're back with another 3 wishes. So we're doing this weekly. So
3 Wishes Wednesday.
We're doing it a bit late, but we didn't set a time. We just said Wednesday.
And let's be honest, if you're listening to us, you've probably got fuck all else left to do.
Exactly. And 12 a.m. is like the new 8 p.m.
It is. And right now it's 9, so you've got ages. Have a drink. Or a smoke.
Paul Lil Sutton.
A little something.
All right, so shall we start?
Yeah,
let's get lubricated with a little question.
Let us
go.
I was thinking we should do like a live on Instagram one day, or us get ready.
If you guys send us voice messages as a question, that would be wild.
Oh my god, do it. You would be famous. Okay, so this question is actually really amazing for both of us because this is us.
Literally us.
I'm romantically hard to approach / court because I'm intimidating. How to go about this? How do you go about this, Emily?
Oh my gosh, this is not even just in my romantic life. This is in my everyday life, my friendship life, my career life, where everyone loves to misinterpret me as a fucking bitch.
Oh, we have those faces.
We have those faces, but what I personally think it is that fact that we are 2 women that know who we are, know what we want, and we're not afraid to say what we think. So when someone who is put in front of us doesn't know who they are and doesn't know what they want, it's intimidating.
I think also if people who don't know that about you, but they just see you with this kind of strong
assertiveness
kind of in demeanor, people instantly take offense to you as well.
Yeah.
And men in particular find it really intimidating, I think, because they're not used to women fighting them back.
Exactly.
I don't know, if a guy was to say something that I didn't like what he said, I'd be like, what did you just say?
Exactly.
Whereas most women would be like, oh yeah, okay, cool, I agree.
And just be agreeable.
Yeah.
But also that's just a reflection of the other person's lack of self-awareness and also security within themselves. If you're a secure person and you know who you are, if I talk to you, we're going to vibe. We're going to be on the same level.
Yeah.
I don't have any issues with people like that.
Nah, definitely not. But I think in response to this question, how can she go about this? She's hard to approach or court because she's intimidating. I guess it depends on whether or not you want to be seen as intimidating, because someone once told me actually at work, she goes to me, Alicia, you're so staunch. And I was honestly mortified with the word staunch. That to me just sounds ruthless and quite rough. But when people tell me that I'm intimidating, I'm kind of I
kind of love it.
What? I'm yeah.
Me and Alicia probably had that impression of each other when we first met each other.
I would say so. It happens.
This is a cold ass bitch and I fucking love her.
Basically, I was I see myself in her. She's my friend now.
I know. I feel all my, even when we first met Yordi, I was like, who is this loud ass bitch? And now I fucking love her.
Yeah, we didn't like her when we first met her. We love her now.
It just depends whether you care to come across to other men as approachable.
I don't think it's an actual problem. I think it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because romantically hard to approach or court, you have to be open to letting people in. So if you're not open to meeting that person or to having a chat with a guy who comes up to you, or you're at a bar or whatever, if you're not open to it, then I mean, I wouldn't want to approach someone who didn't look like they wanted to even be acknowledged.
And I think regardless of whether that person is attractive to you or your type, you can still have manners, you can still have a conversation without having to it lead somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's all about changing your energy. It's not just about like your body language and the way you speak. It's the energy that you're opening up. So if you're open to more people, still set your boundaries, still have self-respect, but you can still have conversations with people and make yourself more inviting to that energy.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I don't think it's a problem unless you are purposefully almost putting on a front because you're guarded. Because you, like in any relationship, you have to let your guard down because you have to show a vulnerability, a side of you that no one else really gets to see.
Exactly.
Like that little softness about you.
Also, it's fucking 2020. Approach him. Like, you don't have to be approachable. You don't have to sit and fucking wait at the bar. You don't have to sit at the bus stop. I mean, obviously right now we're sitting in our homes. But DM him first.
You could. You know, some very cool interactions that I've had with men, I've actually picked up my lady balls and approached them first.
Yeah.
And it's been quite successful. Like, most men aren't going to turn down an attractive woman who asks them to go for a drink or gives them her phone number or something.
Exactly. You got to be what you want to attract, right?
And let's be honest, like we talked about this last week, there could be 5 people right now in your DMs who will break lockdown for you. I guarantee you that will be the same.
They're just waiting. They're waiting for that
They're
DM,
waiting
sis.
for that
little slide in.
That ice queen to drop it.
But also, like, I know I'm a strong woman, and I know Alicia is a strong woman, and I don't really care if I'm intimidating to men, because the kind of man that I want to attract is not afraid of me, is not intimidated by me, is not scared of like whether I reject him or not. They want to talk to me and approach me because they see something and they're not scared of my reaction, really.
I kind of want them to be a little bit scared.
A little bit
Like,
scared.
I want them to feel like, holy fuck, she might say no to me, but I really, really, really want to try because I see something amazing about her. And that's what I want. That's what we want.
You got to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah. That just makes me think of Soggy Biscuit.
Well,
Do you
if
guys
I
know
went,
that
it is a
game?
soggy biscuit.
That game. I wonder if anyone actually played it in school. Did you guys ever hear about it?
I don't know. I'm Aussie, so I don't know if I've...
No, it's a thing. So I remember it being like, I don't actually know if anyone played it. Maybe it was more like a rumor, but it was like when a whole bunch of dudes were at like a party together and they all wanked on this biscuit.
Oh!
It was called Soggy Biscuit. I think that's the gist
Whose
of it.
biscuit is this?
I think maybe, I don't know if anyone had to like eat it or anything, but I remember when I was very young, it was a thing.
Oh my god.
I don't know, man.
Where did you grow up?
I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either, sis.
It's for the men. It's a men's game. A boys' game.
Okay, definitely a boys.
Yeah, definitely a boys' game. But yeah, I think it depends on what you're looking for at the end of the day. And you have to be like, willing to open yourself up to love and relationships or whatever you're looking for.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with being intimidating.
Yeah.
It's fucking got me everywhere so far.
Question 2.
Okay, so these 2 questions came from one person. And I'm going to read them. I'll read the first one and we'll answer that first.
Yeah.
And then the second one, and then we're probably going to give you a personal attack. But
Because
it's
we
for
love you.
your own good. We love your question and we do love you. But also it may not be an attack. It could just be
The truth.
a little bit of a what is it called? Like a light bulb moment where you're like, oh, okay. Okay, so the question is, say Z person has done all this self-reflection and growth. Z person has identified their daddy issues and self-destructing habits. How does Z person, firstly, stop attracting the same dropkick dudes the old Z person was attracting, and secondly, stop repeating the same habits that have been identified as being negative for Z person's self-reflection and growth? Z person is me. Summary. How does one stop one's shitty habits once these shitty habits have been identified?
Okay, shall we answer that first?
Yeah, we'll do this first, as if they were 2 completely separate questions.
Okay. I would first ask yourself, are you attracting the same type of people or are you accepting the same type of people? Because there's a difference.
There is a difference.
You can't be like, I only have fuckboys in my life if you're only responding to the fuckboys, but this nice guy's DM you or talking to you or initiating a conversation with you.
Or if you're acting like a fuckboy.
Exactly.
Attacked. But I just attacked myself. No, but it's true. Like, what you're attracting and what you're accepting are completely different things. And there might be nice guys in your DMs that maybe you do just have to give that guy a chance.
And at the end of the day, you've done all the hard work. The hard part is actually admitting to yourself, these are my
Toxic
patterns.
behaviors.
This is what I tend to do. These are the people I pick. And then from there, you have to be like, okay, so what are my boundaries? What are my boundaries so I don't repeat the same patterns again? And not only once you find those boundaries, you actually have to physically set them. And I'm fucking struggling with that at the moment as well. Is once you start making these interactions and connections with people, you literally have to say to them, you've crossed that boundary. This is what it is.
I think the thing is also, like, a key takeaway from that is like the self-reflection and the growth is actually the fucking hardest part. Like Emily said, like looking at yourself and being like, oh, I definitely have daddy issues, and I definitely self-sabotage. I do the same things all the time. My patterns are the same, and you do the same thing over and over again. And then also your boundaries shouldn't change no matter what the person is. So whether it's a fuckboy or a nice guy, your boundaries should be exactly the same throughout, because those are the things that keep you safe.
Exactly.
So
let's make an example.
Yeah.
Say my boundary is approaching sex or initiating sex with me too early. Mm-hmm. And then someone crosses that boundary. How would you then go about it?
I would establish my boundary, first of all. If they want to take me on a date or whatever, I'm not having sex on the first date. In fact, the first date, you shouldn't even have to say that, because it's actually up to you if you want to do something or not. But going forward, if it gets to a point where you're not feeling comfortable about approaching sex with a person, then you should just be like, hey, look, I'm not comfortable with doing this with you right now. This is a boundary for me. You can even say that.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're looking for, because sometimes sex can complicate things, right?
Yeah.
So
I think sex can complicate things for everybody. I feel like sex can be a boundary for every woman. I feel like waiting for sex can never do too much harm the way having sex early on can.
I sometimes disagree with that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like, oh my God, am I going to sound like a fucking dick? Okay, so sometimes it's nice to get the sex out of the way quickly. It doesn't have to be on the first date or the first interaction or whatever. But once it's kind of done, it's done. There's a weight lifted, it's gone. I don't like to make someone wait too long for sex, because the more I get to know them, the more I get to like them less.
Yeah.
So then it gets to a point where it's kind of awkward, and then I'm like, do I have to do like a bit of a pity lay situation because by then I actually know you more? Or then it gets really awkward, because then you've got to call it off before you have the sex. But if you've just already done it once, and then I don't know.
Nah, I think I'm the opposite, because once I'm such a fucking sexual creature that as soon as I have sex with you, all I'm going to think about is fucking you. And all I'm going to want to do is fuck you, and I'm not going to want to get to know you. I'm going to fuck your brains out until I've calmed down, and then I'll be like, oh, so like, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, see, that's why I get it out of the way once first.
Nah, because that cycle could be months for me.
Anyway, this is an example and not answering her question.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We digress, sorry. So, you want to stop attracting the same dropkick dudes as the old Z, and secondly, stop repeating the same habits that have been identified. I think because you already know what those habits are, you've identified them. So those are negative for your personal reflection and your growth. If you can identify them now, then you should be able to identify them in a situationship with a person.
Even write it down. Write down your boundaries, write down your triggers, so you physically know them.
The analogy we had the other day, where something might come up and it's not necessarily a red flag, but it's a yellow. It's like you want to proceed with caution.
If you feel confused and your gut's telling you something's not right, that means yellow light. Proceed with caution. If you feel fine and your intuition says all good. Obviously, green light, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think, those habits or the same old dude, like, I mean, at the same time, changing your type doesn't always mean the best thing for you either. Like, I've definitely done that. I've tried to date a different type of person than in the past, and that doesn't always work, because when you have a particular person you're attracted to, you kind of just can't help but go back for that kind of same thing again.
Because it feels familiar.
So it's more about things about them that you've got to look at, their personality traits or what they are doing that makes you feel like you're repeating the same habits again.
Exactly.
You've got to be harsh to yourself, but also if the connection doesn't feel right with that guy or girl, cut it.
Yeah. And the hardest thing about self-love is actually having self-discipline. That's the hard part.
That's true. It's kind of like when you break up with your ex, right? Like, how easy to be honest, I've never actually ever fucked an ex after we've broken up, ever. I've never done that. But how easy is it to just like want to fall back into that same pattern again? But it takes a lot of your fucking strength to be like, no. And you have to kind of do the same thing when you're doing this self-growth and reflection phase.
Yeah. And when you do say no, and when you do set your boundaries, or when you do cut that person off that's wrong for you, it's the most fucking empowering feeling ever, and so liberating to be like, no one can control me. I am in charge of who gets to set my energy.
So I think, in summary though, have we answered that? So how to stop one's shitty habits, and then once they've been identified,
figure out your habits, write them down, set your boundaries. When you start creating interactions with people and they cross the boundaries, communicate that.
Figure out what your red flags are, what your yellow lights are, and what your green lights are.
And act accordingly. When people misbehave, well, not misbehave, but when people cross your boundaries, disrespect you, make you feel uncomfortable, communicate it. If they continue that behavior, then you know that you need to cut it off.
Yeah, you don't have to cancel everyone out. I think we've talked about this in one of our other podcasts, but you can choose whether or not you think the person is worth calling them out on their shit and bringing it up and saying to them, I don't like the way that you behaved in this instance, or I don't like how this made me feel because of this. And if you think they're worth it, then say that. If you don't think so, then that's when you can cut it off.
Exactly.
And that will be, surely by this point, if you know what your type is, you know these dropkick dudes, or you know what your habits are, that'll just become easier with time. And then you'll be fending off really nice guys and trying to think of excuses to get rid of them.
Too many options.
Must be nice. Okay, so then she sent us a second question, and I only kind of figured that maybe these could go hand in hand based on her first question. So she said, so naturally, as lockdown started, I began to put a bit of effort into sifting through the Tinder talent in my area. Started to chat with a quote-unquote nice boy and want to keep that cordial going. But we still have 2 weeks of lockdown. How do you maintain a DM cordial during lockdown and still keep things fun? My flatmate did a video chat with a guy and played Pictionary. Any suggestions that are spicier and better than that? Please let me know.
One depends on what you want out of the situation, because once you figure out what you want, that's the kind of journey you can go on. So, for example, if you just want a sexual connection with this person and float around and have fun, then you can say more floaty things. You can have those cheeky pictures. You can have those cheeky conversations. But if you're trying to maybe date this person, then you might want to take that out of the equation until you actually physically meet face to face.
I wonder, have you guys, maybe if you have talked on the phone, so your flatmate did a video chat with Pictionary. I feel like that would actually be a very difficult game of Pictionary to play. But you guys could do like a video date, maybe when you like sit down and have a drink together. You could play a game like Never Have I Ever, where you get a little bit drunk and like it gets you to kind of open up a little bit of your past and sort of, you know, open up what kind of things you've done in the past before, what you're looking for. You could do something like that. If you do want to take it like a little bit spicier and better than that, I think it's all about asking for consent from that person as well and figuring out what you guys are looking for and setting your expectations.
Because, like, what you don't want to do, if you know that you're not able to decide whether you feel comfortable having sex with this person until you've met them, until you've had that, like, face-to-face communication and kind of had a test of the chemistry, then I would say reserve that. You don't want to build that pressure and expectation for yourself that you're going to have sex as soon as you come out if you know that you might not be ready for it.
Also, what I do want to maybe they're going to be the attack for you. So you want to make it spicier with a person that obviously you haven't met yet. Is that one of your bad habits that you have, which is like, you know, maybe taking things to the next level with a Tinder match, like showing them nudes or sending them pictures or having FaceTime sex or whatever? Like, is that something that you normally put into those habits with a girl with daddy issues, which we can both relate to because we have them.
And we do that stuff.
And exactly, like, for me, I don't think I would want to send pictures like that to someone who I didn't already have a sexual relationship with, or if I definitely knew that it was going to be more than just sex.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy to send nudes to someone that I know I'm down just to fuck.
But you have to establish that in person.
But I have to establish that. I also still have to kind of know them, or have met them, or seen them, or something before. Like, I don't feel comfortable personally with sending photos like that to someone I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Because in person versus virtual people are totally different. I mean, look at how many people are not like their Instagram bios, or their Instagram page is not the same person that you meet when you meet them in person. You're like, whoa, what the fuck? And like, what did you say before? Anyone can be anyone on Tinder.
Yeah. Just because he seems nice on Tinder, he could be completely different in person.
He could be a fucking full-blown liar with like a wife and kids.
You don't know that you come out of isolation and he's like, okay, let's fuck now.
Also, what if he's got a little dick?
True.
That's
These are things you have to consider.
Problem. But if you want to make it spicier, so what are some suggestions? Because we still want you to be able to have fun. If you want us to answer your question, that was your attack.
I feel like FaceTime is a really great thing to be able to get a sense of someone's energy and their like gestures, the way they talk, the way they carry themselves. It's the closest thing you can get to face-to-face interaction in this time.
Not only that, FaceTime allows you actually have to spend a lot of actual time.
Yeah.
Because it's not like just being on the phone, which you're cruising around doing whatever. I mean, not that you can fucking do anything in isolation. I mean, I was at the grocery store for like 2 hours today, but I could have FaceTimed in that whole time, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, FaceTime gives you actually have to allocate time to spend with someone. Like, I can't be on FaceTime right now while Emily's in the next room, or in the room with me, because it would be weird and kind of rude.
Yeah. Because it's a set amount of time that you guys, both of you, put aside to just get to know each other. That's as closest thing that you can get to a date.
I like the idea of doing the whole never have I ever with someone, though.
Yeah,
that could be fun.
You could do the reflex cards.
You could do reflex cards,
refer to our last potty.
Definitely. You could do something like that if you want to kind of get to know them on a deeper level. What was that other game that we played? 30 Questions to Fall in Love?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's 30, there's a specific number, but there's a set amount of questions. And apparently if you answer all of them and go back and forth with the person when you meet, you have higher chances of falling in love.
We're not saying that, but that could still be a fun thing for you guys to do. Like,
it could be a stepping stone into the questions and like an open dialogue.
It also could be a way for you to determine whether or not this is going to be like a physical relationship or whether you actually want it to be emotional as well.
And also this is your time to set boundaries. Like, if you know you don't want to have the pressure of sex till later, then just say that. Be like, hey, I really enjoy chatting with you. I want to continue chatting with you until we get out of this. Or no pressure, no expectations. If we fall off, we fall off. But I just want to let you know that I don't feel comfortable having any conversations around the idea of sex or any pressure around that until we kind of get out of here.
Which is fair enough because we're all fucking horny.
Yeah.
Like all of us. The other thing you can do is if you want to maintain you want to keep the chat alive, right? This is the other thing I was saying before, like how sometimes I just want to get sex out of the way because then I don't have to continue the chat. Like, because what if you establish this really amazing emotional connection with this person, then you meet and you realize it's not right? So you can also cut it kind of short and be like, hey, I don't want to chat as often because I'd rather us be like, have a lot more to chat about in person and it'll be way more exciting for us. Then there'll be a physical attraction. And then you can just kind of cool it a little bit yourself if you're feeling overwhelmed or pressured by it. Because that way it also takes a little bit of pressure off, but also it's going to show you whether or not he's actually really interested in what he says he is.
Yeah.
Because if someone genuinely still really wants to get to know you after a couple, like, it's only fucking 2 weeks, man. It's another 14 days. Like, that's not very long in the whole grand scheme of things. If he wants to hit you up like once or twice a week to be like, how are you going? I'm thinking of you. Can't wait till we're out of here. Let's catch up for lunch or something.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But even then, even if you do build an emotional connection and then when you get out, you don't have a physical connection or chemistry, who fucking cares? Like, you can still be friends. Sometimes guys come into your life so that you can meet their friends.
That's true.
Mm.
Do you have any friends?
But does he have any friends?
Anybody? Okay, cool.
I don't know. I think because the whole spice, I mean, when you say spice, I automatically think like sexual.
Yeah, I mean, same. Although Pictionary sounds really lame. No offense to your flatmate.
You can play games. Like, I mean, we've all deleted House Party because of all the hacking rumors, but if you were on House Party, you can have some friendly competition. We've talked about this before. In a first date, when you have like some kind of
like friction
competition, it creates friction, which creates a spark. Sometimes having friendly competition is like a nice, light-hearted way to flirt.
That's true. Yeah.
It's a good way to test chemistry without being physically with someone.
Well, I hope that answered your questions. Mm-hmm. We did kind of digress a little bit, but actually,
I'm not mad about it.
No, I quite liked the chat. I think it was really good.
Yeah.
And if you did focus on all of the rambling, kudos. Because actually that was fucking sound advice, man. I feel like I blacked out in parts of that. Like all of a sudden I was like, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, oh, you wake up and you're like, what just happened? That's kind of how I felt. But that was cool. I love that we had 3 questions again. We're going to do this again next week.
And we love the fucking context. We love the context of questions.
See, even then, with those 2 huge messages, though, I still had questions. I was like, what does she want, though?
Yeah.
So, like, even if you can be even more specific...
Send us a voice message.
A voice memo is what I'm trying to say.
Honestly, if you guys send us voice memos and, like, are okay with us putting it in the potty, I feel like that would be amazing content.
Yeah, that'd be real cute. We could be like, this is from our listener. She's 24. She's from Essex. No. If you are, though, hit us up.
Hit it up.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go drink another glass of wine because...
It's Wine Wednesday.
Yeah, it is.
We'll see you guys next week.
I think we're going to do a video, too.
Yes, we are going to do a video, so stay tuned for that. Okay, we need to go.
Emily and Leash signing up. Over and out.
Okay, bye.
Deuces.
That's it for this episode, fam. Thanks for listening.
If you have any questions, topics, or suggestions, you can DM us on Instagram. The link is in our bio.
And don't forget, whose pussy is this?
It's yours.
Deuces.
Bye.